Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. It's a fun day for me. Well, first of all, it's my 29th anniversary. My wife is out taking video for this video right now. But my new friends, Tod and Jeni, they viewed some of the Christmas tree videos and reached out to me and wanted to come and talk to me. And as I found out that they actually bought a Christmas tree farm in the town that my wife and I first lived in when we first got married. And I believe the first Christmas tree that I ever bought with my wife was off of this tree farm. And they purchased it 2 years ago, a year ago? A year ago. So I've done a lot of videos on how to plant trees, grow trees, and how I started my Christmas tree farm. This is going to be about buying an existing Christmas tree farm. And you can see we are standing on their property. They also do an Airbnb campground. We'll talk a little bit about that. You can tell they have a beautiful piece of property. My wife and I have enjoyed wandering around and visiting with them. So Tod and Jeni Kuspert, Christmas Creek Christmas tree farm. Yeah. Okay, so the first question I had, and I asked you earlier, but did you go looking to buy a Christmas tree farm, or were you just looking for property and it had a Christmas tree farm? So tell us the story.
You want to tell the story?
Well, I was looking for a project. I enjoy working with my hands and growing stuff, and I missed having property. We owned property in the past, and so yeah, I found this on Zillow, and it was really beautiful and it's 34 acres, so there's a lot of land, a lot of projects.
A lot of projects.
A lot of projects. We mentioned that earlier. You'll never not have something to do. Never. Okay, so you fell in love with the property first, and it has a Christmas tree farm, which I'm assuming at the cost of this land, you probably need a little income from the Christmas tree farm.
It worked out that way.
Yeah. So going from someone that's never had a Christmas tree farm to you're not gradually growing into it. Like I have a 1-year tree, then a 2-year tree, and I'm learning. You have new plantings, you have harvestable trees, you have shearing, you have everything to do. Tell me what was a surprise for you, what went as expected, what wears you out, what you enjoy. Just give us some of that.
So, buying an existing piece of property that has a tree farm. This farm has been in business since 1983, so it has got a long history. It's got a huge following. Everybody loves Christmas Creek Tree Farm. So when we came upon it, it was like, oh, this is amazing. But also over time, it means there's a lot of wear and tear on the farm, and there's a lot to do. So we've been playing catch up over the years, and so that was probably our biggest surprise moving in, was how much fixing we had to do. But the trees were doing great, even after the big heat we had last June that damaged a lot of the babies, and we had to recover from that. But they are responding well, and so we've been able to actually come into it pretty easily, and thanks to Rob's videos, we've learned so much about tree farming. So that's helped, and we're really appreciative of his videos. So, and we watched a lot of YouTube to learn how to catch up to where we needed to be when you walk into buying a tree farm. Okay,
so obviously it's a significant amount of work for you, but you also have hired a crew that does a lot of it. How much of it would you say you're doing yourself, the actual tree work? How much is crews hired in? And how does it?
Oh, I'd say the crews probably do 95% of the work.
Of the tree work.
If I didn't work my day job, I'd probably spend more time on the trees, but I just don't have time between day job and all the projects here. And it helps a lot having those guys in here.
Yeah.
They're fast and they're really good.
And the crew had been working this farm for years, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, so, you know, I'll say you're fortunate in that, because I know people, myself included, that have been looking for a crew and to help out as I'm getting older. And it's hard to find people that know how to work Christmas trees. So, you know, keep them, keep a hold of them if you can.
I try to bring donuts every week, so when they're here, so that seems to keep them happy.
Yeah. Whatever keeps them happy, that's good. Anything else about the Christmas tree? So what if somebody was looking, because I know there's people out there actually looking to buy a Christmas tree farm. You bought a piece of property that had a Christmas tree farm. What would you tell people to look for or be aware of if there's people out there that want to buy a Christmas tree farm?
I think knowing the farm's history and detailed history of how they've planted, the types of trees they've planted, what has done well for them and what hasn't, because as we talk so much in the tree industry is how the soil produces, that's everything for trees, is how their soil is, what kind, do they have all the right, is it right amount of rainfall, those kinds of conditions. So how steep or level the soil is, how fast it drains, all of those things are really important. So if you were buying a piece of land, is it going to be productive? Well, soil testing's number one. But having a solid history of how well the trees have grown here has been really helpful in knowing that we were going to continue to hopefully be successful in years to come.
Yeah, and we're fortunate that it's been around so long. We have people coming back every year for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, your customer base is already built up,
Yeah,
so
very much
that's
so.
good.
Yeah.
We haven't covered this yet. How many acres total on the property and how many are in trees?
It's 34 acres total, and we have about 20 acres of trees. So it's about, I think, 20 to 22,000 trees.
And what percentage of, I know Nobles there's a lot, Doug's, you have Nordman's. What's your percentages, Doug's? Yeah, what's your percentages of trees approximately?
Probably 75% Noble, and then 10% of the Doug's and the Nordman's, and just a small fraction of the Grants.
Yeah.
But primarily it's Nobles.
Okay, so when you bought it, you want an income right away, but I'm assuming most of the harvestable trees were gone when you bought it. And
That
so
would be correct.
tell us the story. Yeah.
So that is, when I said, knowing the farm's history, we were fortunate enough that the family was very, very open with how things have gone here. So we knew very well what the history was. And as aging individuals that started the farm, as they got older and their kids wanted to go and do other things, it became harder. So they had intended to sell the farm for development. So they stopped planting for a period of 5 years, which is hard to recover from. But then they changed their mind and decided we'll keep growing trees. So they replanted, and that was about 7 years ago. So we are just coming up out. We're in that hole, in that in between where the marketable trees have all been sold, and the trees that were planted 7 years ago are just now coming into a marketable size. So it's just we'll have more and more over the next couple years as they continue to grow up.
Good. And as the trees get bigger, they're more work each tree.
Right.
Okay. Just to make sure.
So there's that.
Clear on
Tree
that.
crew will be here more.
Okay.
We'll have to learn more.
Anything else you'd like to add about buying a Christmas tree farm in your experience? That's something I've never done, an existing tree farm. Did you get a lot of equipment with it, or did you pick up equipment as you went?
The farm came with a truck and a couple tractors, a baling machine, some tools. We bought a couple side-by-sides. They help out a lot. And then lots of small stuff. That's part of the fun, right? Is buying all the
Buy more
toys.
tools.
Got to have more toys.
Gotta have more toys. Yeah.
Okay. What has been, you're 1 year in now, basically?
Almost 1 year.
So what's been the best moment and the worst moment of buying a Christmas tree farm?
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh, probably the best is enjoying the river. And
Well, there's the river. It's beautiful. I was going to say opening day this last year when it was our first day, and Todd and I had all of our crew stand, ready to go for the day. Cocoa's going, coffee's going, fire's going. Everybody's here. We're all excited, and we got to drive up and open the gate for that first time. And the cars are lined up all the way to the freeway, and we're like, it's just so exciting. And you get to welcome in those first cars, and that was exciting. And everybody's just so happy, and so happy it's open, so happy it's not going to become houses, all of those things.
Right.
So it's just exciting. It's fun.
Yeah,
bring joy to everybody.
I agree. That's one of the best parts about being a Christmas tree farmer is you get to be part of everybody's Christmas. It's and just share smiles and stories. And I have a lot of friends that I see once a year now.
Yeah.
And they're busy, they're gone away, but they come, they get a tree from me. I get to say hi. I get to be part of their Christmas, and it's just
golden.
Joy. Yeah.
It's just solid, sheer joy. And the families that come in and they're like, we've been coming here since I was a baby, and now my parents are bringing us, and I'm bringing my kids, and it's just so special to be able to be a part of that. And I think also, one other thing I think about was when we came to look at this place, and we have younger kids, and we just thought this would be such an experience for them. But also the sad part about tree farms closing, because aging farmers don't want to continue, their kids don't want to continue it, and it's easier to sell it for housing development.
Yeah.
And that's just happening over and over and over. And this place was just too special to let that happen. So we fought hard.
Okay, so you've had your good moment. What has been really hard about buying a Christmas tree farm?
The work is overwhelming sometimes, because I work all day and then I come here and I work till 8, sometimes 9 o'clock at night, and so that's hard. It's nice that we have the tree crew to help out, but even with their help, there's still just so much stuff.
There's always stuff to do.
There's something to be fixed, a leaking roof.
Broken water heater.
Yeah,
it's always something.
Okay, we're going to swing to the other part of your property. You Airbnb, you have a beautiful campground down here in a community space. Just share a little bit of the story on what that is. And obviously the Airbnb, this river is probably a feature point of that.
Yeah.
So,
well, here's some kids.
So here comes Jack and
Cora.
Jack and Cora. Jack, what's the hardest part about living on a Christmas tree farm?
Probably having you guys working a lot and not really spending time with us.
Well, you can join us in the work. And
Yeah, I thought you were going
that's
out in
how
the
that
field
works.
and joining
Yeah.
in on the weeding.
I do.
Yeah, I heard
Besides
you're a
me.
pretty good worker. That's what your parents
the
say. You get out there and work hard.
Hardest worker.
That's good. Dad's going to raise you up right and be a good worker.
Yeah. So yes, we have because we have facilities for the tree season, we have a rustic cabin. It's got a kitchen in it, and then we have a bathroom building, and then we have a 20 by 60 foot tent with picnic tables and such. So those 3 structures serve us during the tree season, and it just works out. We have this beautiful park area around it that works as a great group campsite. So we have campers pretty much every weekend from the beginning of May through the end of September. They rent the whole space. They get the river, they get the cabin, the bathroom, the shower. We've had groups as small as 8 people and as big as 50. So it's been another big joy, is just seeing the joy on these campers' faces. I mean, it's an absolute delight to just come down and meet them, and they walk in, they're like, wow, this is so cool, and they're so excited, and and they just have a great time. We'll sometimes pop in and clean the bathroom real quick or take garbages, and they're just, last night we came down to check on them, and they were all yelling thank you as we were driving away, and then they stood up and clapped, and they were so nice and so friendly, and having such a great time, and so that's been fun.
One thing I appreciate about both of your attitudes, and it's similar to mine actually, I've really enjoyed talking to you guys, is that I have a Christmas tree farm because I want to make money with it, but I want to bring joy in the Christmas tree. I want people to have a good experience, so we work hard to make a good experience. And you've talked less about making money on your Airbnb or on your trees and more about people coming out and being happy. And I think that perspective is really good. I mean, you still want to make money. If you're losing money, you're going to lose the farm.
Right.
But if it's not all about money, then the work and the time out there isn't as hard.
Right.
When it's about, and then when you have the attitude that you have or appear to have, it does make for a better environment, and people can want to continue coming out. And that's what we need in the Christmas tree industry, actually.
Just more joy. Just make it easier. Don't make it so hard. And remember what you're doing it for. Like you said, obviously if we don't make money, we don't have a farm anymore, but that's the sad truth. But it was always more about, what it was going to do for our family, and the opportunities it was going to give for our kids, but also just what a cool experience to be able to just give joy to people, and so easily, just You just provide the vessel to give joy. So.
All right, so thank you, Todd and Jenny, for letting us come out to Christmas Creek Christmas Tree Farm in North Bend, Washington. If you want to visit them, if you want to buy a tree, if you want to Airbnb their campground, this is a beautiful place and friendly people. And it is my 29th anniversary. Here's Hot Mama with me. She doesn't normally want to be on camera, but my wife is here, and this is the town we lived in when we first got married 29 years ago. We now live 3 hours to the south of here, and again, as always, thanks for joining me on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching and cleaning horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. Be blessed, everyone.